Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the tranquil side of Florida. This is Real Estate Matters, the voice of real estate in Flagler County and Palm Coast for more than 12 years. I'm Toby Tobin. I'm the publisher of real estate news website gotoby.com. I'm also a Florida licensed realtor with Grand Living Realty. I'm joined today by guest Christine McGrath from Oasis Senior Advisors. Hello, Christine.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Toby.
And we'll be getting to Christine after we go over some quick rundown on kind of end-of-month stats in the county, home sales. We want to thank Flagler County Home Builders Association, one of our sponsors, and also Hammock Community Church. That's where you can find me at the 11 o'clock service every Sunday. It's on A1A in the Hammock, just north of the toll bridge. People refer to it as this little church in the woods. Traditional. We have a choir. We don't have a band. So you might check it out if you're looking for that type of church. Christine and I are going to be talking about aging in place after I go over some quick statistics. And I'm thinking this might be one of the most impactful shows we've done. The topic is close to my heart. So how are July sales going so far? And we're recording this Thursday afternoon. So this is as of the 30th, right?
You got it.
Yeah, okay. As of the 30th, the number of single-family homes sold as reported through the MLS system, 215 homes sold, days on market 64. Last year, in July, 230 homes were sold, days on market at 60. It looks like we're definitely on track to go way beyond that 230 number this year. The median price so far is $370,000. That compares to $358,445 a year ago. If you look at the under 250K market, so far there have been 9 homes sold. 5 of those were cash. 17 days on market. So that's on track, like most months recently, showing a fairly good activity. The cash buyers give you a hint about the investor activity. Days on market, of course, is 17, way below the 64 overall for the month. The other end of the market, $1 million plus, there have been 9 sold, 7 for cash. Days on market at 113. So far, at this time as of noon today, we had 1,124 homes listed. And if you compare that to likely sales in the 250 or 275 range, we really only have about 4 months of inventory in market. So in spite of what everybody tells you about the market being real soft and that we're flooded with inventory, they're just full of it. Pending sales, 385. That's definitely way up from 294 a year ago. The list price of those pending sales is $386,000. The Gindex, which measures the ratio between pending sales and listings, is at 2.9, and it's the first time this month that it's been. This month is the first time in nearly 2 years that it's been below 3, and that's a healthy number. Price increases in the past 7 days. There have been 5. There have been 104 price decreases. That tells us that people are starting to list their homes too high. Not a new phenomenon. New listings in the past 7 days, 84. New sales reported, 61. That's just in a week. New pending sales in the past 7 days, 95. That's up from, I remember last week was 65. So we want to get to this aging in place. You might not be a senior yet, but your parents certainly are. And you may be an active adult, but that will inevitably change. And I'll bet you haven't thought about this topic nearly as many times or as deeply and thoroughly as you should. As many of you know, I lost my wife in February after her long bout with Alzheimer's. Life throws curveballs. We don't always get to live the life we planned. We live the life we're given. My years in Palm Coast started more than 26 years ago when Shirley and I built our final home. It was a new pool home in Grand Haven. We were, quote, active adults, unquote. Today, my wife is gone. I'm living in my third final home, and it's currently for sale as I navigate my remaining years. This person who once single-handedly built a two-story addition on my house must ask a friend to change a light bulb. So, what have I learned? I've learned that grandchildren grow up, they get married, they begin careers, and they're not as interested in visiting grandparents in the summer anymore. .com and real estate bubbles can wreak havoc on accumulated wealth. So too can medical crisis and long-term senior care. So everybody's late life journey is not the same. Some of you will encounter fewer bumps in the road. Others will find more than I have. But most of us did not plan well enough for life's final stages. So here's some interesting facts. Only 66% of U.S. residents age 65 or older have a will. 64 to 72% have advanced directives and living wills. Only 15% have long-term care insurance. And I'll tell you, if you haven't planned, you're likely going to be blindsided. So we're here to talk today about your end-of-life living, aging in place. Most people love Palm Coast, want to be here the rest of their lives. How's that going to happen? And things will happen that you haven't thought about, that you haven't planned for, and that you're totally unprepared for. Fortunately, we have people that will be willing to help you find those answers. So Christine McGrath is affiliated with Oasis Senior Advisors. She helps simplify the search for senior care, including residential options, ranging from residential homes to independent living, assisted living, skilled nursing, memory care. And her advice now, this is a real estate show, so that's my main focus, but she also will help you find, I've heard the term elder attorneys, and I think that means attorneys who specialize in elder
law.
Legal, elder law rather than that they're just old. But the largest common denominator in nearly all of those folks who don't have enough wills, don't have enough advanced directives, living wills, insurance, the biggest common denominator is the knowledge of available options. So if you can't plan for what you don't understand, and I hope today's topic opens your eyes.
Thank you, Toby. Where shall we start? Tell me, how should we start with, perhaps I should share what we really do at Oasis Senior Advisors and let everybody know that we are a free, no consultation, no obligation service. You literally provide not even half a penny. There's no fee to call us and reach out to us or seek us online. We are nationwide. We're over in 40 states and 170 territories, and I'm very proud and honored to be with them and supporting the area of Amelia Island, which is Nassau County, all the way down to Volusia County, Edgewater area. And having previously worked in a senior living community myself, meaning an assisted living setting here in Palm Coast, now I could speak about the strong innards of the industry versus being biased, as a family would like to think if they're coming to me to that community that I worked at. So now I can really share the strong desires of please trust us, allow us to help, and with our skill set and wisdom that we have in our industry and the proficiency, right?
Yeah. Now, I was fortunate enough in Shirley's case. I just kind of bumped into it. It wasn't planned. It just was just maybe God's work. But found a perfect location for her final 3+ years. But I just got lucky, and I hope that starting today, you all will start planning and looking further ahead than I did. And I actually was able to find someone like Christine, who's no longer in that business, but was guided to a good place. So I had no idea single-family residential facilities existed until the very last minute.
And let's talk about the planning. No one's really raising their hand and planning to run off and spend thousands of dollars, whether it be in the small residential homes that we're going to speak of, or these larger corporate, beautiful settings that we have here in town. 10 of them, the assisted living communities, either or, they are private pay. Unless you have Medicaid onboarded with the Medicaid Florida voucher. A lot of families get confused thinking Medicare will cover that monthly allotted amount, and that's not the case. And as you probably experienced as well, because you had to pay out of pocket as well, right, Toby?
Right.
So with that comes the knowledge of saying to yourself and oneself, how much money do I have in the bank? How much can I spend each month in assisted living setting, whether it be, and we're going to talk again about whether it be in a larger setting of a larger corporate community here in town, or the smaller, beautiful offerings that we have here that a lot of people don't know about, where you had Shirley. And I endorse those smaller communities, and I hope these other community partners inside these larger corporations don't call me and say, Christine, why weren't you endorsing us? Because there's a place for them. There's a place for those larger corporate settings, right?
And some of them are like resorts.
Beautiful, beautiful, large, 3 stories. We've all seen them being built, right?
With a bar and an exercise room.
Happy hour. Yeah. Some have pools, right?
So do you think the bar is, they have the bars because it helps reduce their medication costs?
I think they want to be happy. More importantly, they want to remain independent. I'm sure they were going out to the restaurants and bars previous to going to live in that communal setting, and they want to make sure they have the same activities they were doing when they were once at home. So,
well, let's just a quick rundown of the types of facilities, and start at the lower end, this single-family residential facilities, and then go right up to the top. And I want you to talk about the differences in both the level of care and the cost.
So we're going to start off with the smaller. They're called residential care homes. RCH is the acronym in our industry, just like ALF is assisted living facilities, right? So these small residential care homes have to follow and are governed by the same board as these larger communities nationwide. And here in Florida, we're governed by AHCA, the Agency for Healthcare Administration. So I think it's important for families to think and realize that when they are thinking about, or they're introduced as you were to a home where Shirley was, they have to follow the same regulations. They are having the same site and state inspections that the larger communities have to abide by, and they're governed the same way. The difference is you don't have those resort style amenities, the van, the pool. Some homes have a pool, right? Meaning the smaller ones.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 stories, 4 stories, the arduous amount of beautiful activities maybe that they're going to have, and the larger amount of social engagement versus the smaller intimate setting where Shirley
Good.
was.
Good. Well, hold your thoughts, folks. We have to just take a quick break, but don't go away. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for staying with us. We've got Christine McGrath with Oasis
Good morning.
talking about senior care facilities in the area and what our options are.
So as we were saying before we just took a brief break is the smaller settings versus the larger. I love the smaller ones. It really comes down to cost. Let's just jump into the cost. It's the financial component for those that are really going to make the difference because, again, we're not necessarily planning and thinking and desiring that we're going to spend $5, $6, $7, $8,000 a month in this type of setting. And that could be very costly when you look at through the course of the years of you having Shirley for almost 3 years in this type of setting. So you need to make sure that you have the budget and a realistic budget, or you're going to be very disappointed when they're coming towards you. They meaning the executive director in the larger community setting, or the owner in the smaller setting saying, hey, the cost of care, level of care, LOC has gone up. And you're like, whoa, what does that mean? So if
That means your monthly bill's going up.
that means you're going to open up your wallet and your purse and you're going to write a larger check, if you will, right? So what happens is when a loved one chooses a community, whether it be large or small, and the smaller ones I'm going to share with you are good for those again. If your loved one maybe wasn't social by nature or isn't currently or never was, that's going to be a good setting. Of course, the cost factor. Perhaps they're not going to go on the bus to all these beautiful activities that you're going to see on their calendar. Perhaps you don't want to pay for those bells and whistles that the larger communities are offering. So
another difference, I know in Shirley's case, she did not respond well in traditional institutional environment. And people with dementia do not handle change well. And in an institutional environment, where she went in when COVID was still around, and you have people that are all wearing masks. They're different people every shift, and that just doesn't suit a traditional or typical dementia patient.
you're right. And again, why I also endorse these smaller settings is because it's intimate. You see the same faces. They are the same residents. You're typically looking at a 4 or 5 bedroom home setting versus 100 or 70 or 50, right? That's a lot of people. So your loved one has to be okay with that many people in the dining room, in the activities around. So,
and what do the caregivers have to look forward to? I think that's the biggest shock. I think in a typical dementia situation, the process is more difficult for the caregiver than it is the patient.
I agree. So the caregiver you're meaning, I see what you're saying. I'm thinking the caregiver in the community setting. You're talking about the caregiver, you as the husband, the spouse, or
that's probably the person we're talking to right now, not the
you're right.
future patient, but the future caregiver.
You're right. We're talking to the spouse or the adult child or whomever, right? That is the caregiver. So what they need to think about is again, let's put aside the cost is now on the table, and they're moving towards that process of moving their loved one into this setting. Keep visiting these communities. Keep going to unannounced, uninvited, right? You got to know what you're doing, who these folks are, making sure this is a one time, like you said, so you're not moving your loved one, especially when
Mm-hmm.
they have memory impairment, because that's
Mm-hmm.
not good to keep moving them out of their environment. So you want to make sure when you're planning what you need to all start planning in addition to myself, and you're already planning on your move. You know what you're doing next,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we're planning for these stages as we age and endure these complex realities of all of us aging in life, is the planning process is making sure that you're visiting the communities, your costs are on the table. Come down and hone down to what does it look like for your loved one. Here's another really important factor that really is very hard for me to say, whether it be like you and I face to face or even on the phone. When I hear a loved one say, well, it's more convenient for me because it's 5 minutes away from my home. Are they really thinking about their loved one, or are they thinking about themselves?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that you have to really think about your loved one and how they're the one enduring that setting. They're the one living that type of setting lifestyle, whereas you're going back home to where you once were together and being. So I think that's something that really has to resonate. That sometimes I find it hard to say that inconvenient truth
Mm-hmm.
to whoever my audience is, whether it be
Well, and sometimes giving up the home environment is the right thing to do sooner than people might expect. You know, when you're young, you can pick your spouse up off the floor if they fall, or help them get up if they even need help. But it's another thing when you're both in your 80s.
you're right. And then what? Who are you calling? Are you calling a neighbor? Are you calling someone to come over, drive over? Or are you calling the EMTs locally here in town, right?
Mm-hmm. And does one of your neighbors have a key to your door so you can call them so they can let EMT in so they don't have to bash your door down?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
these are things people just don't think about. They suddenly find themselves in the I've fallen and I can't get up.
Absolutely. Or they're in the hospital and then the hospital is asking you a whole host of questions about advanced directives or who's the responsible party, emergency contact.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's it's a difficult world.
It is. And if you don't plan, it becomes very costly. And there's a reason why they call them advanced directives, because if you don't have them, you're paying for a ream of paper, white blank paper with black ink, thousands of dollars when you can pay a lesser amount in advance. And when you don't plan and you're in distress, you're making poor decisions, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's 2 o'clock in the morning is a bad time to make momentous decisions.
Yes. And there are costly decisions at that too, because unfortunately, being in the healthcare and senior living industry, this costs money, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it could be a very big difference of saving thousands versus having to spend thousands unnecessarily.
And what role do support groups play?
Oh, a wonderful role for before, during, and after, right? You have love by numbers, if you will, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have these individuals who are going through, have gone through, or currently undergoing what you're going through. And again, you just have to open up your heart and trust to share. That's what,
I'm active in a group. You've been a
yes.
guest at our meetings, and it started out a dozen years ago as a support group, people who had Alzheimer's spouses, but then the spouses passed, and then it became a combination caregiver grievance group, and then people with early Alzheimer's started coming, and so it became a group of potential or new entry patients into the realm,
Right?
plus caregivers, plus grievers. But it's a great support system.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Find, seek, ask Toby. He'll tell you where to go, who to talk to, who to find. Everyone needs help. We all do. Everybody needs support and love.
Age doesn't always come with wisdom.
No.
Sometimes age comes alone.
Oh,
We've got to wrap up. Uh, I won't go through my normal, because we're running out of time, my normal end of show speech, but we hope you can all come and join us again next week here. Anna Maria will be back. She's off at a conference this week. Christine, it's so good to know you and good to have had you here
Thank
today
you.
because
Thank you for having me, Toby. It's been an honor and pleasure, and I'm here to support the whole community at large here in Palm Coast.
we need this topic out in the open.
Yes, we do. We
Yeah.
do.
Thanks, folks. Come back next week. I'm Toby Tobin, and I approve this show.